Summerville Speedway in one word.
Wow, one word. Um, I'll make it a combination of words. How about fantastical? Reason why I say fantastical because Summerville Speedway was fantastic, but it was fantastic because of the fans. You know, we had fans that something would happen the week before at the racetrack, and we'd be pulling in the racetrack, and we'd have fans hanging over the stands saying, whatever happened last week, Jeff, we gonna get this deal done this week or something like that. They'd be saying, all right, go Jeff, go whatever. So that as my crew, again, my crew worked so hard all the time. So fantastical, the fans made it fantastic. So I'd say fantastical is probably one word that I would describe Summerville Speedway, no doubt.
What was your first race or visit to the track?
First race or visit to the track? My father raced for years out there with Charlie, and I can't pinpoint when that was because I was probably at the racetrack when I was in diapers. But I would say probably watching my father race probably somewhere 6, 7, 8 years old. All of us, we'd hang out at underneath the grandstands and we'd play around underneath the grandstands. We'd play cup ball. I don't know if y'all remember that or not, but we'd play cup ball underneath the grandstands. And realistically, I probably got my first kiss under the grandstands of Summerville Speedway, probably.
Can you put into words kind of what the track meant to the community?
Well, community was such a, back then we didn't have, all the video games and all the other things that we have in today's world. We did cool things, so Summerville Speedway was it was a place to go, it was a place to meet, it was a place to, for people to get to do something that normal people didn't do. There's not a racetrack in every town, and people worked hard for their money, and to be able to come there with friends and as a community, the people that came as fans, which meant so much to us because without fans we wouldn't get sponsored. Without fans we wouldn't, it'd be nothing. I know we spent a little bit of time in the last couple of years with COVID, with things going on without fans in the stands, and that just it just kind of gave it a whole different outlook. But the community in Summerville and the surrounding areas, the Low Country, I mean, people came from all over the place to come to the racetrack. So as far as the community is concerned, we had so many local sponsors and so many people that came out every single week that they might have not had enough money to barely get in the racetrack, but they did. They came to the racetrack because it was a part of what they did and a part of what the community was, because there's so many things that did, and then Charlie did so much in the community. The Azalea Festival and stuff, we all brought race cars there, and it was amazing. The people in the parade, the Azalea parade, it was amazing the people that came just to see the race cars and just to see what was going on, and so it meant a lot to them. And in NASCAR anyway, in racing, the fan deal and the sponsors and the products, I mean, people are loyal. So the community was very loyal to Summerville Speedway.
Do you have a favorite memory from the racetrack?
Favorite memory? Gosh, there's so many. I tell you, it's there's so many memories out there, and believe it or not, my memory, one of my favorite memories, I say favorite and loosely, I guess. I'd gotten a bad wreck, flipped my car several times down the back straightaway, and it looked very devastating. And actually, Charlie Powell's mother came after a race and came down. She was at the race that night, and she came down and she was almost in tears, and she said to me, if I can say this without getting broke up about it, you know, she said when everybody was quiet, she bowed her head and said a little prayer because she thought I was actually dead. So, and she came over there and said that to me. And the amount of times I've seen Charlie Powell's mother, I can't even count. I mean, I can't even say. I mean, I can't even say that, recall the time that I saw her, but I did see her that night. So that was probably my fondest memory, but kind of a bad memory in a way as far as the wreck is concerned. But the fact that she came over and shared her feelings with me was probably one of my fondest memories. And I have so much between me and my father racing together at the Summerville Speedway. We actually got to race together at the Speedway together. And I tell you, there's just so many, but that's probably one that really sticks out in my head.
What were your thoughts when you heard that the Speedway was closing down?
Well, at that time, when the Speedway was actually closing down, I'd moved on and I was racing elsewhere and doing some different things. And first off, I couldn't believe it because, you know, we just had, you know, I grew up there, and a lot of kids grew up there that actually turned out to be drivers and moved on to other things in motorsports. It was devastating in a way, but at the same time, it just was a little bit unbelievable because so many things in our life, in everybody's life at that time, was changing, and the growth in our area has been unbelievable, and it was just another sad thought for me to think that such an icon, which is Summerville Speedway, was going to be no more. So it was devastating in a way. I can remember I took my wife out there in a little BMW in the track right before they tore it down. The gate was open. I went out there and made a few laps. Got my little fix there. My wife about clawed my eyes out, but I did get to take a few laps in a regular car around the racetrack right before they tore it down. So that meant something to me, and I'll always remember that. Well, you know, we talked about earlier about so many memories that we had from Summerville and the Speedway and the relationships and stuff that was built there. You know, I was very fortunate to have so many memories of my father and Charlie and little Charles and Robert and Sean and all of us. You know, we all kind of grew up together, but and so many other people there. I spent here 10 minutes naming off names. But the fact that right before Charlie passed, probably a year before Charlie passed, Charlie and I got to, you know, I quit racing for about 10 or 15 years and started back running these little Legends cars with my buddy Dennis Brown, and we started going to Florence to test those little cars, and so I got to kind of rekindle my relationship with Charlie a little bit because, you know, Charlie and I have had so many, you know, we've had a lot of good times and good memories, and we've had bad memories. I'm sure everybody's done the same thing there or has the same feeling there. But I got to rekindle my relationship with Charlie, which I lost my dad about 8 years ago, and Charlie and my daddy had a lot of stories together. So we go up there and test it at Florence where Charlie was at, and talked about some of the Speedway memories, some real Speedway memories, and I was fortunate enough to have Rafe Judd and Mr. Judd there, and then Charlie, and we'd go up there and test for all day long. We'd sit around afterwards and have a couple of cold adult beverages, and we'd sit around and have Charlie there, and Rafe's daddy there, and me and Rafe, and we just rekindled so many memories, and it was kind of a cool deal for me because I got a little bit of my daddy back just by talking to Charlie, and you know, it's really cool. The first couple of times we went there, and after we got finished talking, and you know, half of Summerville Speedway probably won't believe this, but Charlie Powell and I actually hugged the first couple of times we left the racetrack after that. So that was pretty cool, and it was a very, very sad deal when Charlie passed, and he meant a lot to a lot of people, and good and bad. And but there was I was so fortunate to be able to rekindle that relationship right before he passed. So that meant a lot to me, and Summerville Speedway meant a lot to me. The people that's helped me over the years was just amazing. The loyalty they had to me, and the fans. Lord knows the fans were unbelievable. And I know when that racetrack closed that it took a lot of heart and soul from a lot of people in the area that racetrack wasn't there for them to go to every night anymore, every Saturday night. But hopefully in the years to come, hopefully something will come back to this area and we can rekindle the racing community in the Low Country area. That's what I'm wishing for anyway, because I sure have a lot of memories there, and I'd sure hate to, for other people coming up right now in this area not to have those same type of memories. So, Summerville Speedway was very, very special to me, and Charlie Powell was an amazing promoter and did so many things at that racetrack for the community and for individuals as well. It was a pretty cool deal. I was glad to be a part of it.